Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Crypto is absolutely erupting, ripping to the upside. Things are looking really bullish. And there are some things that are happening now which are looking really bullish. And I do see this continuing for a while. So let's have a look at total crypto market quickly because we did have the highest weekly close in history, highest daily close in history yesterday. So over here, Sunday, 20th of July, we did close at $3.84 trillion, which is the highest daily close in history. And of course, if we go to the weekly time frame, it is of course the highest weekly close in history, which is bullish, guys. There's nothing bearish about the highest weekly close in history. So what we have at the moment is really bullish. You can see that we have now broken above that Friday high. Obviously, Friday we pumped and then sold off, but we have now closed, or we have taken out that level now. We haven't closed above it. If we do close above it, it'll be really, really, really bullish. But for now, my bad, guys. But for now, we're still in this trade and we are moving to the upside. So our target is $5 trillion over there. So this is the upside target. We haven't hit that yet. And that makes sense because if we have these trends to this trend line to the upside, this upsloping resistance over there, you can see that this point over here makes sense about that 4.5, 4.6 trillion region over there. We are obviously still long from this buy box. Guys, we spoke about this for a while. The plan was always to break this down, this descending resistance, reclaim $3 trillion. And once we retest $3 trillion as support, this is going to be the buy zone. And we are long on multiple different altcoins, of course. And we're going to have a look at Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, XRP. Those are our major longs. And we'll go into some other longs such as Ondos. So let's go into Solana real quick. Solana is pumping. We've finally taken out the 187 high that we did make in the 27th of May over there. And we are approaching that 50% level, $175 over here, right over here. This is resistance, of course. That is from the all-time high over there all the way down to that $92 low. Very, very big pullback. I mean, that's a drop of 68% over there. So that 50% comes in at $195. And $195, when we do come into this level, it will be resistance, no doubt. So we most likely won't just crack straight through that. Maybe we do, but this is a high probability resistance zone, of course. And it looks like over here we are about to get that golden cross over here. Golden cross, of course, when the 50-day EMA crosses above the 200-day EMA, and we do get a nice rip to the upside. ETH got the golden cross. Let's go on to ETH. ETH got the golden cross over here after a nice rally. We chopped sideways and then just carved straight through. So for Solana, what we could see here is maybe a sideways chop when we do come into this 195K, $195 level over here. It'll chop and then straight through just like Ethereum after getting that golden cross. So it'll look very similar, guys. Push to the upside, got the golden cross, went sideways, and then broke straight through. So I'm expecting something similar for Solana. And this is our TP1, is this $200 region. This box over here is TP1 from our long over here. We're still in the long, of course. We took this long when we got the breakout and the retest, high probability trade over there. TP1 and then TP2 is $260. And then who knows how high this is going to go. Obviously, the market's looking really bullish, and it would suck to sell out early, right? So we're going to basically probably not stick with these targets. We'll have a look at how the market structure is moving. We'll look for lower lows. Lower highs and lower lows in a distribution pattern. We'll look for the signs and symptoms of a potential market top. But for now, things are looking good. If this just slices straight through, there is no reason to take profits at these levels, and we're just going to keep holding our bags. So Solana, really, really, really bullish. Ethereum, $4,000 is loading, and it's happening very soon and very quickly. We could easily get a pullback. If you look at technical levels, a pullback down to here before a move up is potentially on the cards. I think a lot of people have missed the trade which means that if a lot of people have missed the trade, they most likely won't get the opportunity to get back into it. Therefore, we are expecting to move higher. So if this just keeps moving up and no one's in the trade, people will start FOMOing in, and that's when we do see that massive target of that 8.7K for of course, ETH. That's just the measured move of the breakout. So we have this ascending triangle pattern over here. If we break out, $8,700 is the target for Ethereum, guys. That is the target. But for now, we're still in our long from 2,500, of course, with leverage as well. We are well up on this. We're almost, 9x up on this trade. I did take some chips off the table at 3,300. That's just a very obvious level to take chips off the table. Next TP is $4,000, and then we'll see how it is reacting when we come into this level, of course. XRP is absolutely boosting. We are still in this trade. This was the final TP. I have not TP'd everything yet. I've taken half off the table. Who knows what's going to happen with this? If we take out this high or close above this high, I'm expecting a move much higher. So definitely wouldn't be taking profits. There are no signs and symptoms of taking profits. If we start to close candles below here, then we can maybe exit over here for a potential pullback all the way down to that $2.80 region. But for now, it is very bullish. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance playing ball perfectly here. Coming into the 50% level, of course, that 50% level will be from that low that we saw after the November, December pump. Of course, the crypto pump, we saw that big move. That low over there to this recent cycle high over here. That halfway point is at 60.2%. So we could see a move into the 60.2, 60.3%. This will be, of course, support. We have to treat this as support. So maybe we chop around here for a bit. Maybe some of the altcoin gains are converted back into Bitcoin. However, we could lose this level, retest this as resistance, and then move straight forward. So we'll have to see how it reacts over here. Of course, we're not considering to close our swing trades. Our swing trades could maybe be closed when we hit 52% Bitcoin dominance or 43%. These are our targets. We've explained these levels for a while now. I will quickly go over them. If you go into the weekly time frame, upsloping support all the way there, that's where we get 43% from. And then, of course, 52% is the macro 50% of the cycle. So, of course, we have the lows over here coming in at 39%. This was when the last market cycle top was to this high. So if this is the high, then 52% is the halfway point. 52% is the bearish target for altcoins. So altcoins will, not rally incredibly like they did before. That is the bearish target, and the bullish target for altcoins is 43%. We're not sure what's going to happen. We don't have the crystal ball, but these are the key levels for Bitcoin dominance on the macro point of view. And on the kind of zoomed in daily time frame, 52% is the target, 43% is the target. Will this happen in Q3? Will it happen before? Who knows? We just trade in the charts, but these are the obvious levels. So if we do lose that 60.3%, 52% is next. USDT dominance, obviously looking very bearish. We've been bearish on this since it broke down over here and closed below the 50-day EMA. We've been bearish, and of course, continuation to the downside here. We haven't taken out that Friday low. If we do and close below there, I'm expecting the range low. We are very close to the range low. So let's see what happens over here. There's two scenarios in my opinion. So if we hit the range low USDT dominance, we could get a bounce up here, come into that 4.4% before that final move down. This will most likely be the top of the crypto cycle. So if this happens now or later, who knows? But I'm looking at this level for a potential low or a top in the crypto market, or we could come here, cut straight through, test it as resistance. So we could either get a pullback coming into the zone over here, or we're going to slice through, test as resistance, and move to the downside. USDC dominance obviously looking very similar. We have now deviated above this level, and we did get the death cross now. So target is 1.14%. We obviously saw the March high last year at the zone over here. We saw the November, December high over here. So I'm definitely expecting this level to be tapped. Of course, this will most likely be another market top over here. I've got that zone circled. Who knows when it will happen? But when we do come into this level for USDC dominance, guys, pay attention. This is when we want to be closing our trades for sure, taking chips off the table. Since over here, crypto's obviously ripped a lot, so you could see a similar move over there, of course. So who knows? We could have another push up before the sell off, but who knows? So today we are making lower lows in the previous week, so we must watch out for USDT dominance and USDC dominance. These are both very, very, very important to look at, guys. So total 3 bullish above $1 trillion, which is huge for the program. The target for the cup and handle over here, let's just zoom out of it, guys. There's a huge cup and handle over here, which we're, of course, trading. Cup over there, handle over here. Let me see if I can get a parallel channel. You can see, a bit of the handle formation over there. So cup, handle. Looks like we are breaking out of the handle over here. And of course, the measured move is the size of the cup. Well, how big's the cup? The cup is pretty big. So if we do break out of this high over here, which I'm going to mark off, this is of course the top of the cup. If we break out of this high over here, the measured move will be taken from the high, which takes us all the way to that $2 trillion mark. So the $2 trillion mark is the target for total 3. So I think total 3 will have a $2 trillion target. Total has that $5 trillion target over there. You guys can do the maths, of course. Bitcoin and ETH will take up the balance of that, about $3 trillion. And others is looking bullish, guys. So others is coming into that 50% level, guys. We spoke about this 50% level for others over here. So this is technical resistance. So what we could see is a chop around the zone over here. We have recently got the golden cross over here, which is bullish, and we are expecting an uptrend from this point. So now we do have an uptrend. We did break this high over here. Of course, we had lower lows and lower highs. Then we broke through here. This was our sign that we are expecting something different, of course, breaking out of this channel. We created a macro higher low relative to this low over here, and that was confirmed towards the end of last week because we took out this high. So now because this high was taken out, and this high being taken out over here confirms the higher low, which means we're in a bullish market structure. So we are expecting bullish continuation over here. And of course, the 50% level, 450 billion, all the way down to 180 odd billion, 174, 75 billion. That halfway point comes in at $312 billion. And we are currently trading above that level right now. So if we can close multiple candles above this level over here, it puts the total others, it puts others into the stronger half. Okay, we have the stronger half over here above the 50% level. We have the weaker half over here. If others is in the stronger half and showing strength over here, obviously above this high over here, the next target is going to be the range high, and that's coming in at 450 billion. So basically, that is a 44% move for your favorite altcoin. Guys, it's very important to understand that you must be targeting altcoins that are in a bullish market structure. So look at this, guys. This is higher highs and higher lows. It's, of course, very choppy, but it is technically higher highs and higher lows over there. So you don't want to be chasing altcoins that don't look like this. A good example of this is Ondo, which we are in the trade, guys. This is higher highs and higher lows. I know it's extremely choppy, but this is technical higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so what we expect next is another higher high. Of course, $3 Ondo is my target. $2 all-time highs for sure. $3 is the final TP. But this is the kind of chart or formation that you want to be seeing, guys. So that's an example there would be Ondo. Another example is, of course, Chainlink, also creating higher highs and higher lows. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Of course, Sui, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low. So we are expecting another higher high at that $7.50, maybe even $11.22 for Sui. These are a few of my biggest trades. Of course, ENA is starting to pop off as well, looking really good over here. I do expect the fair value gap to be filled for ENA, coming in at $1.10. So Chainlink looking good, SUI looking good, ENA looking good. Multiple coins are all looking good, and we are on the correct side of the market, which is a great feeling, guys. Casper starting to show some strength. I've been holding this one for a while, so let's see. Let's see. Of course, the range highs would be the targets after like a double deviation, something like that. Are there any altcoin requests, guys? Let's have a look. Of course, the meme coins are popping off. Cautiously bullish on meme coins. I do see Solana, of course, is having a huge move today, which does mean that potentially the meme coins are going to run. We are seeing Jupiter run, which means, of course, this is where altcoins are traded. Jupiter, we'll have a look at Radium. I haven't looked at Radium in a while. Guys, Lido is ripping as well. I'm going to have a look at Radium because Radium, when Radium is ripping, it means that the altcoin markets, there we go, it is ripping. It means the meme coins are going to rip because, of course, the meme coins are traded on Radium and Jupiter. So when Solana gets a nice move to the upside, we should see something like this pop off. We can be cautiously bullish and wait for the golden cross over there. But let's see. What else is looking good, guys? Stay away. Of course, stay away from this, guys. You don't want to see anything like this. This is what most coins, might do. So look at Fartcoin. Fartcoin looks like it is looking for a big move. I did enter a Fartcoin long. So, we are now above this macro 50% level. We did sell off all the way down here. So if Fartcoin can start to close multiple daily candles, I'm talking about at least 3 in a row above this zone over here, above $1.47, then we are targeting $2.70 for Fartcoin. Okay, of course, very childish, but if it is the trade that we're willing to take, it is the trade. Of course, you can see bullish market structure over here. Looks like we're about to take these highs out over here. So let's see, guys. Let's see. If we take out this high, I am expecting a fast move up here, and it can happen very fast, guys. Let me tell you, it can happen very fast. What else is looking interesting, guys? There are some things. 36% today on Drift. Casper is looking really good. Spoke about that earlier. Okay, one thing that we need to speak about as well is the news events. Okay, so there's not much happening this week. Of course, next week is FOMC, federal funds rates, etc. This is a long time before this. This is another 10 days. So with no bad news coming out, what you can expect is continuation, guys. Massive continuation here. Continuation is expected because there are no news events that are going to, hit the hammer unless there's a hack or something like that. But you can probably, bet your dollars here that this is going to continue, guys. This is going to continue. I think a lot of people have missed the move. So, which means if a lot of people have missed the move, we're going to run, guys. Everyone's missed the move. Everyone's waiting for the pullback. Everyone wants the pullback. The pullbacks are going to be fast and shallow, and then continuation, guys. Keep that in mind. S&P 500, all-time highs today. Guys, nothing bearish about all-time highs. I always say there's nothing bearish about all-time highs. If you were bearish over here, you stopped out. Look at this, guys. If you're shorting all-time highs, you got stopped out. Short all-time highs, stopped out. Stopped out, stopped out, stopped out, stopped out, stopped out. Anyone who shorted the all-time highs with a stop loss at the all-time high got stopped out. So do not short this, guys. Do not short this. It's so silly. It's how you blow your accounts. NASDAQ, all-time highs. Nothing bearish about all-time high NASDAQ. What else is happening? MicroStrategy, bullish market structure, expecting all-time highs soon. Of course, a move up here. Simple. But also notice that Bitcoin is pretty close to all-time highs. This is still 21% away from all-time highs. So definitely be cautious with MicroStrategy. I think Coinbase is more bullish. Coinbase, guys, we did spot the breakout. We did say, guys, Coinbase is at all-time highs. Crypto is most likely going to continue with it, and that has been the case. Riot as well. Obviously, these guys mine Bitcoin. These guys are looking pretty good as well. Let's see. I think your money is safer in strong altcoins, your Ethereums, your Solanas, whatnot. but the market is looking bullish, guys. Nvidia at 173. This is so bullish. Nothing bearish about this. If you shorted this, you're in trouble. What else? What else is there to speak about, guys? There isn't much. I would just say, trade cautiously. Of course, we can have a look at the 4-hour time frame. So I want to speak about this. Let's get rid of that. It's from the daily time frame. Looks like Bitcoin, is wanting to break out over here. We closed the candle there. Your line in the sand is this 50-day EMA. So as long as we're holding the 50-day EMA with little fake out opportunities like that, it is bullish. If we start to close candles below the 50-day EMA and test it as resistance, that could be your sign to maybe shave some profits, take some chips off the table. But for now, we're still in this long. We did get into this long over here. Of course, our stop was below this low over here. So we are nicely in profits for this trade. So if you haven't taken chips off the table, I haven't taken chips off the table. But if we do start to lose these levels, then you can take your chips off the table for your Bitcoin trade, of course, guys. But for now, looking strong. No reason to short this. No reason to short this at all, guys. Just like this. If this is invert. There's no reason to long this at all. Stuck below the EMAs. These EMAs are expanding and just continuation to the downside. Of course, this is inverted, guys. So vice versa. No reason to short this. Of course, we've got this trend line over here. If you start to break this down, this could be your potential short. RSI, of course, we're going to be forming bearish divergence. You can see over here, RSI trending to the downside over there. Let's get this arrow straight. RSI trending to the downside. Of course, we've been making higher highs over here, higher highs throughout. So this is a potential short setup. I prefer it when we are closer to the 50-day EMA. We start to close below the 50-day EMA, then you get that short setup, exactly like we saw in Bitcoin dominance, guys. Bitcoin dominance, you get that bearish divergence. You start to chop below the 50-day EMA. This is when you start to get those shorts, guys, and then you time the move well, something like that. But let's see. For now, it is bullish. For now, we're expecting continuation. If we go to the hourly time frame, hourly time frame, we can wait for continuation. We can wait for a take of this high. So if we take this high, you can see we have started to form, a bit more bullish market structure on the hourly time frame. If we can close, we can get above this level and form this. This could be your long signal, and then of course all-time highs. All-time highs are the obvious targets, and our Bitcoin long target is 135K. That is what we are targeting. But guys, thanks so much for joining the stream. I've enjoyed this one. Macro Mondays. Portfolios are popping, guys. Things are absolutely ripping. And we'll see you guys later this week. Cheers for now.